We have got to talk about the race riots in Charlottesville, Virginia. We talk a lot about what's going on with white nationalists, white supremacists in this nation. During the election cycle, we call them the working class, white voters, so on and so forth. But what we're really dealing with is a group of people who are in societal and cultural decay. If we look at the numbers, since the 1950s, among the quote-unquote white working class, marriage has dropped through the floor, church attendance has dropped through the floor, unemployment is at near record numbers. I know our current unemployment rate is 4.3%, but what we heard from President Trump on the campaign trail is that you can't believe those numbers. So in many white working class communities, unemployment is at 25, 30, 40% unemployment. You're looking at a community that has a drug and violence culture. Donald Trump said that New Hampshire was a drug-infested den. You just saw them in New Jersey begging the president for money for the quote-unquote opioid epidemic. There are over 300 million guns in this country, the majority of them owned by those same quote-unquote white working class voters. They have a gun and drug culture. We've seen now more than ever fatherlessness skyrocket in white communities. We've seen now more than ever economic decay in these communities. These people have to understand that you have to comport yourself the way that Americans do. You have to cut your hair, you have to take off your camouflage, put on a suit, and get out there and pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Right now, there are more white people on welfare in America than any other group. SNAP, TANF, WIC, all of these are dominated by white people who have lost the work ethic that built this country. And when they lost this work ethic, the only thing that they do is go to the government and beg for a handout. And traditionally, they got it. There were land grants to go settle the West, homesteaders. They will just give you land to go out and settle an area. GI Bill. Affirmative action went disproportionately to white women to boost them. This is a society and a culture built on government handouts, built on whining and complaining about what America has done to them. That's what this rally was yesterday. A bunch of quote-unquote conservative snow bunnies getting together and complaining and whining to the government about what they feel is oppressing them. They feel that they are oppressed. Well, let's get this together, Buckaroo. You got to understand that in America, you pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. You work hard the same way that African Americans do and that Hispanics do, that the Asian American community does, that the Jewish community does. Everybody in this country works, except for these people who think they're supposed to just go complain, whine, and beg to the government to come save them. And they're that mad about America where they're going to fly a rebel flag over their protest. Well, then go back to Europe. Go back to England. Go back to Ireland. Eat some haggis. But that's not what we do here in America, and they have to understand that. And the reason they have this fear of being replaced is it's a lot like Bruce Willis in The Sixth Sense, in that they don't know that they're already replaced. They still think that it's something that is happening and that can be stopped, not realizing that it has happened and cannot be stopped. Every anthropological study says that within the next 50 to 100 years, there's a very good chance that white people will either be extinct or near extinction as a racial group through a combination of climate change and interbreeding with other groups. It's just a fact. We're already on pace for white people in the United States of America to be a minority group by 2050. So they can fight back, they can push back, they can say, well, we won't be replaced, we want our country back, but it's too late. And the way to get it isn't through being in the streets and whining, it's through getting out there and working. How about instead of buying all your tiki torches from Home Depot and Lowe's, you could have got together and built your own. You know, they would tell everybody else, build your own. Build up your own communities. Put money into the pockets of the people that can build. Look, you guys are going to have to get used to being a minority group. And part of it is collectivism. You got to pool your resources. Stop spending all your money on big, shiny pickup trucks, guns, fireworks, and Jim Beam. You're going to have to learn how to manage resources. We have to teach them thrift, temperance, personal responsibility. Stop blaming everybody else for all of the problems in your community. They are your problems caused by your own individualized failures. If you look at the fall of the Roman Empire, Europe stayed at war pretty much from the time of the fall of the Western Roman Empire until 1948. It was a continuous back and forth warring between the Holy Roman Empire and the barbarians, the Angles, the Saxons, the Norsemen, until the Moors, of course, came in and established order for about 700 years. And after that brief intermission, they went right back to warring. And after World War II, when the new Rome arose as a superpower, the United States, their group had a renaissance, to say, where they were the hegemonic authority on this earth and in this country. But from that moment, that zenith in the 1950s, that zenith of power that they were at, has been in steady decay and decline. Instead of building on what they had accomplished, they allowed it to erode away to a point that now they see the event horizon before them and realize that very soon they will be a minority group in this country, and they're angry about it. They see their families decaying, their churches decaying. They see their communities eroding. They see their economy failing. And because of that, they lash out. What this rally was about, it was not about a Confederate statue. It was about reminding President Trump and the Republicans that they put in office that this is your voter base, and this is what happens if you do not come through on your promises. You promised us health care. You promised us a wall. You promised us that you would make America great again, as in making America what it once was. But what they have to realize is there is no turning back.